Hello, crafty friends. Welcome to my craft room. I'm Yvonne with Amjur, On My Mind, Journaling and More. And today I'm going to work in my July signature. I have just been stuffing things in. I have nothing glued down. And I think today is like the 18th of July. But that's okay. I have all my pictures printed through, let's see, through July 17th. So I did that this morning before recording. So I need to cut up these pictures. We'll get to this, but I also, on July 17th, haven't done the first of any of my prompts. And July prompts were, here they are: sealed, fruit, ribbon, bird watching, and machine sewing postcard. So I have a couple of ideas for those, but this one is what I'm going to work on today. We'll only do part of it and then we'll get into the July signature. My first idea was I had this card. It's just the front part of a card. It's a beachy scene, and I used the other part for some other project. So I thought, oh, I'll just make this into a postcard. I have these little stamps. Thought I had a different stamp I was going to use. I have these stamp stickers, and I was just going to call that a day. Then, I didn't do the project, didn't do it, so I had another idea. I guess the purpose for me of pulling these prompts, and remember, I just randomly for a couple of years had been printing prompts for my art journal, and I had a great big stack of them. I printed them from Pinterest. Probably Pinterest mostly, because I tend to scour Pinterest when I'm traveling or when there's not much happening, or I'm stuck somewhere I really don't want to be, like in an airport. I'll scroll through Pinterest. So that's my challenge, is to actually do some of these prompts. And so with that, I want to step up the game. So doing something like this would work and would fulfill it, but I want to try to get a little more challenged by these. Coffee. It's actually a Saturday morning, the first Saturday morning for me in a while. So here's what I was doing. I worked in my junk journal / art journal / creative journal the other day and posted it as a therapeutic journaling session. And I had used a bunch of magazine images. And so I have a bunch more here. And I started looking at them going, well, what am I going to do with these? When you look at the whole page, it's like, yeah, I like this little part of it or something. So I started cutting them into the traditional 4x6 size. And that's when they started to get interesting to me. This was just a paint from the other night. I had used a piece of this magazine I used a roller brush with some acrylic paint. So I cut that into that size. Here's one. And so to me, these are interesting. This, when I cut it down to 4x6 size, it was zoo. But I actually kind of like that. 0 days. So that'll go somewhere in my journal. I really like that one. And then these were the cutoffs. Is this the size? These were cut-offs that I really wasn't going to use. So I'm going to set those aside. Now, here's some more. Excuse me. And so all I did, and we're not going to, I've got a ton of images here. So I'll just do a few, but I think I do want to make a bunch of these / postcards. So with that, I'm going to set some of those aside, and just, this is how I did it. And whoops, that's fallen off. Oh, and of course I pulled it. I like the cutter to be on my right hand side. I'm a righty. Okay, so I just looked at the image and started like going, okay, this one's lengthwise, so I need 6 across and 4. Do I like, and for me, now you might like this part of it, which that would be pretty good to get the sky in there. I tend to like stuff like this, so I'm gonna see where 6 will land, and I have to, there's a torn edge on this side. So 6 will give me up to here, so I'll get all these 2-3 buildings put together. And honestly, this reminds me of a downtown area that is very near me. So that's what we'd end up with if I trimmed it off at the bottom. So honestly, maybe I could make 2 out of this. So I'm going to do that. Let me trim off. It's a little bit tricky to trim a thin piece of magazine. So I'm going to trim that off. And then we want, yeah, 6 this way. And I don't want to trim that side. So I'm going to line that up there and just trim off 6 this way. There's the cutoff. I'm not going to get rid of that. I might, for now, I may later on have all these things lying around. Now, me personally, I like the bottom part of that. So I'm going to cut that right now. There's that. To me, that's going to make a very interesting postcard. So there's one. Now, on this particular one, I may be able to get another image out of it. I'm going to trim it and see how it looks. How about that? To me, it's beautiful. I think this is the view downtown Cincinnati. I think that was the book I cut these off out of. So, out of that one image, I'm getting 2 postcards. So I think you get the gist of it. Then you have this kind of thing that's sort of geometric. And I can do it one of 2 ways. I can look at it this way or this way. Do I want, I kind of like the red corner. Right, so I'm just going to play with it. It might not do anything. It's just an ad from a magazine. I think this is one of the travel brochures I picked up. And let's see where 6 gets us. Over to here. So we lose that circle. Let's see where 4 gets us over here. We're even going to lose the circle from there. So tit for tat. Let's do the 4 first. It's just going to be that. do the 4 this way. I don't know if this one is a good image, but I'm going to cut it 4 this way. This I think I'm going to get rid of. Let it go. I kind of still like the red, even though I like the circle here. I think, let's see, I need 6, right? Just going to cut it off there. It's kind of interesting. Or here. Okay, do I still keep the red corner? Tiny little bit of the red corner. Okay, that makes the decision for me. It's kind of an interesting scrap. So there's that one. And it's just a geometric image for you to do whatever you want with. So I have a few more. I'm not going to cut any more out because I do want to get into my my book, my signature, July signature. So I either want to cut this out, or even I like that they're holding on. This is an airport rail system. These are the Shackelford Bank horses, ponies, very close by me. A library scene, and even this one. I'm growing asparagus this year for the first time, and you don't really get asparagus the first year, so maybe I will cut this one out. I'm going to set these aside. Let's show you the rest of the images I want to try to make into postcards. And they're just images out of magazines off the map. Here's some books. Oh, here's one. I don't know, if I cut that one up, I may lose what that is. We'll see. So I'll set these aside. And then here is, it's a magazine that I altered. I did some 3D type things. I did some stencils I used and did I rubbed it off, and then did some embossing. Yep. So those are some things I thought I wanted to do. Now, let's see. Where does 6 get me here? I will still have that white edge. Oh dear. Wait a minute. 4 by 6. Let's see. I'm going to see. The white edge may not necessarily be a bad thing. Yeah, it's going to be. Okay, maybe this one won't work. And so, that's okay too. Because I don't want the 6 to be this way because this image is, well, maybe not. Sometimes it's how you look at it, right? Six this way. I need the tops of that. And that does not look even. Let me even that up. Ooh, this is going to be tricky. There we go. You have to have a sharp blade in there to get these. Okay, so 6. I want the tops of it. That edge is not even. All right. Well, I'm going to play with this one. You get the idea. And then what I'm going to do is take those images. Here's the 3 we did this morning. And so there's this back. I want this to be a journal card. So I'm going to work on this one. Okay. So I have this 4x6 scrap pad of papers that I have not used. I've had this forever. So what I'm going to do is just glue these together, and that will give me a journal space on the back. And then I'm going to take my sewing machine and sew around the edges. And probably decorate a little bit more. So it'll do something like this. Let me get some sort of glue thing down. So I've used magazines, an old scrap pad, and then I'll get my sewing machine out and sew around the edges. I guess lining this up is going to be tricky. Didn't think about that. And I missed. I don't want to miss because I need every bit of that. What in the world? Okay. Come on. There. I guess my paper might be crooked. I don't know. I'm not going to trim this until when I sew it. That might just, I don't know if you can see that little edge. The sewing will take that up. All right. So that'll be like a journal card. And then you'll see one of these in my July journal with this prompt. Okay. The next step there would be to break out my sewing machine, which I really can't do. Well, I have done it. It's difficult. I have recorded it, but I can't coordinate everything. You can see like the sewing machine edge, which is fine. Oh, you know what? Let me pop this out. I have this silicone mat that I should be using to glue. Not sure why I'm not. Okay. Have that. And okay, so here is July. 0 done. I have a ton of stuff in here. I am not going to stuff the bus, so to speak, right now, because I want to start actually gluing some things down. But I do want to talk about these. So I've printed my images. I'll have to cut those apart. Here's some things I want to journal about. My poor tomatoes. This year, last year I had so many tomatoes. This year, my tomato plants died. They drowned. They got too much water, which is so unusual for us. So I have been watching, YouTube videos of YouTubers that do kind of the same thing I do with junk journaling, scrapbooking. Memory keeping is more along the lines of it. I am a a old scrapbooker. I used to scrapbook everything. I would do like scrap buster nights where I'd stay up all night. I put together all my children's scrapbook albums, documenting everything, not just the school pictures, like, first lost tooth, things like that, with little memorabilia in there, like little pouches from their first haircut. So I've scrapbooked for a long time. And then, and not to get morbid, when my son passed, that kind of all went away. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't finish. In fact, I still have not finished his album. I think most of you know, if you're watching, my granddaughter lives with us. That's his daughter. And I think one day I will put that together, finish it, and give it to her. But so in any case, I watch a few different journalers that do this type of junk scrapbook, memory keeping type journaling. And that's what drew me back in. So I've been doing this style for a couple years now, and only last year started kind of recording. And so I've been watching Allison at AJ's Inspired Life, and I do my journaling prompts, my creative journaling prompts. There's other people that do other type things. This is July. There's Junk Journal July. I can't do something like that every single day. But Allison's has inspired me. She is using her stash. And I spent so much time yesterday organizing my craft room. I have organized my craft room like 4 times this year, and I just can't seem to get it right. I think, like Allison said in one of her videos, I'm over-organizing. So her way of using her stash is to force herself basically to use something from one of her items, the item of the month, every day. And so I'm like, oh, I can't do a daily challenge. I barely get to this some weeks. But she pulled for the month of July printables. And it caught my attention. For whatever reason, it caught my attention. And I don't have printables. And she mentioned a bunch of places where you could get free printables. So, of course, I went and checked it out. And these were from, it's a Facebook group called, I think it's, I'm butchering it, probably Free Printables Clipart or something like that. So these old people caught my attention. How cute are these? I think people probably use AI to generate these images, but this reminds me, this is who I want to be when I grow up, right? Of course, I'm already here. They're cute. It's an old couple doing random old couple things. That's where I want to be. This image, I just went to the beach. So I love those. So I may, with these, something else that Allison does, I printed these on just regular printer paper. And she does Mod Podge on top of these. So I'm going to try that with these. I'll probably Mod Podge one of these pages to see if I like it. And then I do watch Brooke, Recreations by Brooke. I like her. She's very talented. She does a lot of artwork in her journal. But she has a Facebook group, and she does these Friday freebies. And I didn't really know that until Allison mentioned it. So I printed a few of her freebies, and look how gorgeous. Oh my gosh. This may even be, where's my ruler? Oh, I didn't put it away. 4x6? Did it print 4x6? A little bit over 4x6. Huh. 4.5 by 6.25, I think. Renew your dreams. I may change my mind and use that one. She had these. I don't document the weather, but this summer I should have. And so she has these little weather stickers, and it looks like she drew them. She's really talented. My printer, like Allison's, probably doesn't do the colors justice, but here's some more of her art. And these were free, so I guess I now have some printables to work with. I don't know that I'll get to them every single day. I also downloaded Canva this month, and I made this. I do have a small, very small Etsy shop where I sell just random like craft supplies, or if I get an overabundance of something, I'll put it on there. I just listed a bunch of, I put some tea-dyed envelopes, but I put them together in like a kit with some tea-dyed paper and then some other, I think there's some stamps in that kit. And then there's some Christmas ephemera packs on there. And I do also sell some journals. I sell some locally here too. Not very much, but for the month of July. But look what I mean, this was done in Canva. I'm loving it. But if you do choose to purchase anything from my Etsy shop, you can just find it, hashtag #Amjour. For the month of July, if you spend $20 and use July 25, you'll get 25% off. So anyway, I now have printables to use. All right, but I do have to get to this. And usually, I've said it before, once I work on the cover, the rest of this goes together pretty quickly. But you can see I've not glued anything in. And this is one I thought I could make into a postcard, but it's just too big. But I love it, so I want to use it in my journal. There's a reason when we get to it. So the cover it is. And once the cover gets put together, I typically can run through it pretty quickly. Last month, I think there were a couple of days when I was solo. My husband was out of town. My granddaughter was at either a friend's or my daughter's, her aunt. Another sip of coffee. And I had cut out I did some healthy choice meals instead of cooking for myself. And I'd saved it, but I don't really need it anymore. So I'm going to use it to back this July journal prompt. And that usually gets me started for the month. And on, what is today, probably the 18th, 19th maybe, somewhere around there. It's good to get started actually gluing some things down. So, need my scissors, and let's kind of burnish this down a little bit. Okay. And no one is the wiser that is a food packaging piece of cardstock. I should probably trim it at the top here. There we go. I've moved some things around so I don't even have my little garbage can near me. But if you could see the stack of garbage I pulled out of this room, it's crazy. Just paper scraps. I had it in a garbage can, but I did toss some things. I'm going to round these corners. So it's a bag full of paper trash. Wow, that didn't want to give way. That one did easier. I wonder if there's something stuck in this. I have a hard time with this one, but it's convenient. The older one I have, it's getting so old it's hard to, there might be some things stuck in there. I'm not going to mess with it now. Okay, there's my journal prompt card. So just to keep track of what the journal prompts were for the month. And let's take a look at this cover. I had stuck a few things up here. Can put July. I liked this. Stars and stripes. But I also want some sort of pocket. I'm thinking out loud, sorry about this. If I use this as a pocket, it kind of covers up stars. I could use this as a pocket. These are so thick, but it's the cover. And then use stars and stripes. July down here. And use this as the pocket. That's a lot on the cover. But I think I'm going to do it. Alright, so the first step is to make this little thing. And I don't think I need glue on the two ends because I'm going to trim it off. Let's see. Get it about right there. Trim this off. I have a stack over to my right of garbage. I better, since this is torn, I'm going to kind of follow suit and tear that other edge. There we go. July. And this will be pocket. There's something on that. This is an old scrapbooking kit that I had purchased, a pre-made background page. And I've had it forever. I cut it apart. You can see my microphone cord. I bought those wireless ones, but they're so unpredictable. All right, I want to hold the edge that I keep open. That's this one. Oh no. My glue splattered a little bit. Let's see if I can wipe that off. Okay. And fairly close to the edge on the bottom, since I want to use that stars and stripes. I like the blue, the daisies, but I've used in the past couple of signatures that I've put together, I've not wanted to cover up the background pages. Need to make sure I can still get into that. Ooh, it's so thick. I should have. Let's see. There we go. Okay, it's going to slide in. So there's my pocket. Now, stars was over to the more to the left. I have to remember that I still have not sewn this in. Ah! Stuck myself with that pin. Whoopsie. All right, this one is not going to be a pocket. And I'm using art glitter glue because this paper is so thick. Stars. I think that looks really good against those blue daisies. But it is going to cover up most of it. That'll be all right, excuse me. I wonder if it's getting clogged. Probably need to clean out the nozzle. All right, and then this may be centered a little, but I still have to be mindful of that edge. Okay, and then the and, or what do you call it? Is it an ampersand? Ampersand? I don't know if that's right. To me, it's the and symbol. Stars and Stripes for July. And that wraps up the cover for July. So I can actually start moving into the signature. There we go. Love it. Very nice. Okay, now let's see if I can get a few things glued down. The funny thing is, we have done a lot this month, but we haven't really done a lot. So I don't have a lot of pictures. So this is truly going to be a creative type thing. So July 1st, something personal happened for my granddaughter, but I'm not going to talk about that. Let's just say she's grown now. So I took her to Dunkin' Donuts. She loves Dunkin' Donuts. We get the refreshers, and she loves them. I love them. They're so good on a hot summer day. I since learned, and this was July 1st, when I went to the beach with my oldest daughter later in the month, we stopped and got refreshers, and she says, you know, these have caffeine in them. I did not know that. So I've been giving her, my granddaughter, caffeine and not really even knowing it. So just Dunkin'. I can use one of these. Here's the little checkout. I saved a bunch of this checkout receipt. She put her name in the little kiosk. She's getting to where she wants to do things herself, and I let her. She's growing up. She wants to feel like she's in charge. So she ordered her refresher on their little kiosk. I'm going to keep that. I'll just put it right on the envelope, I think. Why not? And the other thing that happened is, I need a journaling card to go in here. And probably need to make hope this goes through it, a little notch to indicate that this is ooh, it's not going to. Oh no. No, I have it stuck. Oh dear. Oh my. And that's why you should put paper. I think I just broke. I sure did. I'll have to get my husband to work on that. All right. And that's why you put paper If you have something thin, you put it on another piece of paper, or you break your stamp. Literally. That's a shame. Gives me a reason to go to the craft store, though. Oh no, I don't need to go to the craft store. Okay, I just cleaned up a bunch of crafty things. All right. So I do need some sort of journaling card. Now, this would work. However, this, it's honestly, doesn't go together at all. But have you ever had a dream that literally stuck with you the whole day? That's this. I dreamt about a yellow bird. Is that weird? Do I want to write on the back of that about the dream? No. I'll put two journaling cards in there. It just stuck with me the entire day. I can still remember the dream, and this was 17 days ago. So, yeah, my nozzle is getting clogged. I can feel it. So I'm going to write about that dream. I think I put it into my reflection journal is what I call it. Just where I do kind of work out some more therapy type things that are going on in my head. I wrote about it in that journal. So I wanted to document the yellow bird. Now, this is so thin, as you saw. I wonder if this one's a little more oh, never mind. It's open on the bottom. Unless I staple it. I'm not going to staple it. Well, I had some glue tape, but I've put it away so good I'm not sure where it is now. Literally. So, alright. I tell you what, I'm going to come back to this. I hate to keep clipping things in. Did I have a clip for this one? No. I hate to keep clipping things in, but I want to find that glue tape. But I still need some sort of journal card. I liked this yellow today. Sticker. This is a Happy Planner sticker today. Maybe behind the I have to remember that I'm using this one. Yeah. I like that kind of behind, want it kind of on an angle, and then the pocket should cover it just a little bit. Yeah, I like that. I like that, I like that. Now, this has to go in the pocket. It's just, I don't normally keep receipts, but we had to make a special trip to the store. So that'll go inside the pocket. All right, so I've got the cover, the first, put this here, and maybe I can get the second done. but it appears there's only receipts. Let's see. Well, we made a chocolate cake. Actually, Brie made the chocolate cake. We went to the grocery store, and that's about it. We did get caught in the rain. Since there's not much going on, I have all my stuff I want to use stuffed in a box. I don't even think. Here's the rest of the prompts that I'm working on. I don't think I have anything in here. Could look for a journaling card. That's cute. Living for the weekend. I wonder if I have a cake in my birthday bag. Or something to indicate rain, because we got soaked. We sure did. We have had so much rain this month. It seriously does not go. When life gives you lemons, I've made that. Does that go? How about that? And that I'm gonna put there. And nothing with rain. Well, I have these, but I thought I would want to save this, kind of document August, because all I wrote on my little planner pad is caught in the rain. I know it was hot and we got caught in the rain and we baked a chocolate cake. So there's another day I'm going to have to skip over because I want to find a cake. Or maybe I could use this. I'm going to keep that in there. I seriously think we are going to get some pages done. I'm just going to keep moving on. The third. Let's see. We went to, this one's going to be hard too. We went to my daughter's concert, outdoor concert. They do it every year. And then they do a great big fireworks show. There's the July prompts I printed twice. Don't need that. Here's the fireworks. Better crumple that to know. Here's her, like this announcement. Apparently I printed the fireworks twice. The exact same size. We also, here's something with the weather. Had the first tropical storm form. We ended up having to cut our camping trip short because of it. So that's really over here. we left the 5th. Well, I'm going to put it on the 5th because even though it formed, we knew by the 5th, the night of the 4th, that we were going to go home early. Here's my daughter. She plays the saxophone. Here's my daughter. So I have quite a few pictures on the 4th. This is not the 4th. This is the 5th. Here. I wonder why I printed that twice. Okay. All right. And I better flip through these pictures that I printed this morning. Make sure. All right, so I have this kind of 3 clip arts. I have this tag that I thought might look cute. I wonder if I need a pocket. That's the problem with working in such a small space, is that when you have big days, you're kind of forced to do a tip out. And did I not just see something in here that I could do a tip out with? I think I did. More towards the back. Yep, way back there. There it is. Here. I have so much other stuff. I also forgot I have these. This and this. These are some rub-ons. So because this is plain stark white, what do I want to do? So here will be, is this blank inside? Oh, yes. Here will be my tip in. I might actually glue it down and then have this and this open, but then it can't be a pocket. Can it be a pocket? Can it be a pocket and a tip? Yes. All right, so behind this, I think I want to try to use some of these transfers. I haven't used these. I take that back. I think I used something from here maybe last year. These are just from the dollar store. Let's see. Just going to start cutting. We did fireworks. Yep, I'm just trying to figure out where to cut this. I almost like it all together, but it's not going to be, it's going to be too big. Okay, so I have that. And see, even the fireworks is going to get covered. So it'll look like that. So I'm going to lose all of the fireworks. So I'm going to not waste them. Okay. I can do the fireworks there. And now I can't lift this up. Here, I have this space here. Let's see. I don't know how this is going to look. I'm going to use just the freedom so nothing gets covered up. Ooh. How about that? Gives me some sort of background. And then that fireworks I will use. Up here. Lose some of it, but that's okay. What else do I have on here? Quite a bit that I would want to use, but I have this day too. Okay. Now, yeah, okay. Do I want, which would make me have to not do this page because I don't think I have anything close by. Do I want to mark up the background with some ink? I do, and it's across the room. And I'm almost out of time. So I'm going to take some blue background on the back of this, and then I will sketch these out or rub them onto, I think I want this one here. I hope I'm doing this right. Let me just check the directions. Okay. I don't know if this is working, if this is the right way to do it. I hope so. I don't know. Oh, yes. Okay, apparently it's working. Oh no. Oh, look at that. Interesting. That's going to look really good on the background there like that. Okay. All right, so I got the cover done. I've got 2 pages half done. I need to find a picture of a cake. I need to get the blue background down and then put these on, and then I'll have all these pictures that I can add. So I'm loving it. And so, like I said, the rest will go pretty quickly. Okay, I hope you do something fun today. I hope you're documenting life, just life. I think I mentioned Allison from AJ's Inspired Life. She says, you know, we have so many hours that we're up in the day. We've done something, and she's very good. You should watch her. I'll link her below. Okay, I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.